right, good day, Gretkov. So we are working on algebra, and for now we are on what called quadratic equations. Okay, so on quadratic equations, we're going to use what we call to deal with three formulas that you need to understand, three methods you need to understand: the K method, uh, the factoring method, and quadratic equation using quadratic equation method. Okay, and after that we're also going to look into inequalities. Okay, so let's get to see what's going on here. uh, all right, so here, so these are quadratic equations, and we are going to study the factoring method, solving for x. So when you're solving for x in this case here, what must you do here? You must multiply the first and the last, first and the last. Okay, this factoring method, because you want to factorize first and you have factors, two factors first, then those two factors, that's when you can equate them to zero to get the value of x. So what I'm going to do here, you're going to say, all right, 6 times x squared, you get 6x squared. Then you look for factors, two factors, okay? And these two factors, you multiply them to get 6x squared. Then you add them to get 5x. Okay, so what must you do now? You must you must substitute. After that, you substitute 5x with those two factors. So once you get those two factors, you must substitute what's called 5x with those two factors. So now let's get to see here what are those factors that we can use here. For us to get 6x, we need two factors. And what are those two factors here? We're going to say, all right, 6 and 1, 6 and 1 here, they are factors, but will they help us? 6 and 1, will they help us? No, they can't help us, because if we say 6 times 1, we get 6. But if we say 6 plus 1, we get 7. So what about 6 and negative 1? 6 and negative 1 won't work, because we want to get positive 6. So let's get to think what are factors here. So it can only be 3 and 2. 3 and 2. So 3 times 2, you get 6. 3 plus 2, you get 5. So let's work with those. Let's substitute them here. So it's going to be 3x and 2x. So plus 3x plus 2x plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, what you're going to do now, you're going to substitute now. Sorry, you're going to factorize. You have factorized this part here, and you factorize this part here. So you're dealing with this as separate. So these are two separate things that you need to deal with. So you're going to say, all right, you factorize this first part, then you factorize that second part. And what you must get here, two brackets, the first bracket and the second bracket must be identical. So what must we do now? You're going to say x into x squared, you get x. X, you factor out x here. X into 3x, you get 3. So then plus, let's factor out 2 on this one. We're going to factor out 2, because 2 is the one that is common. 2 into 2x, you get x. 2 into 6, you get 3. Then equal to 0. As you can see here, we've got two factors here. X and plus x plus 3 are multiplying. X is multiplying x plus 3. 2 is multiplying x plus 3. So we're going to take the x here and the plus 2 here. It's one factor. And x plus 3 is common. X plus 3 is common to both. So we have equal to 0. Okay. So remember, don't get confused here. This is just factoring out. Imagine here if you have got, what is it? 2x plus 3x. So in this case here, what will be common this side? What will be common here is what we call, maybe let's say 3xy. So what's common in this case is going to be x. So you factor out x, then you've got 2 plus 3y. That's what we're just doing here. So here we're going to take the x plus 3 and x plus 3, we take it out, then we have it, then we say equal to 0. So either x plus 2 is equal to 0, then you take 2 that side, it's going to be x is equals to negative 2. Or x plus 3 is equals to 0, then you take x that 3 that side is going to be equal to negative 3. So understand something here. X is equal to negative 2 or negative 3. Because if you take negative 3 into this, you get a 0. And if you say 0 times negative x plus 3, you get a 0. Then if we put negative 2 here, you get negative 2 plus 2, you get 0. 0 times x plus 3, you get 0. So that's why we are saying that. So these are the values of x. So x is either equal to negative 2 or negative 3. Now let's see another question here that you can also find. Here we are having 15p squared plus 19p plus plus minus 19p minus plus 6 is equal to 0. So what must we do? Remember, we take 15 times 6. So we're going to say here 15 times 6, we get 190. So it's going to be 90p squared. Okay. So when you put 90p squared here, what must we do? We're going to say 15p squared. Let's think of the factors here. That goes that what call that if we multiply we get what call factors of 90, that if we add them they give us negative 19. So it can only be negative 10 and negative 9, negative 10p, negative 9p, because if we multiply these two they give us 19. If we add them they give us negative 19. So let's substitute this negative 19 minus 10p minus 9p plus 6 is equal to 0. Now, what must we do now? We're going to say, let's treat this separately. Let's do the factorization separately here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to find a common factor on these two. So it's going to be 5p, was 5 goes into 15 and 10, and the p goes into p squared and p. Now, 15p into 5p is we get 3p minus 5 into 10, you get 2. Then let's see what we're going to do here. When I factor out negative 3, because 3 goes into 9, 3 goes into 6. So we factor out negative 3, we're going to get what? 3 into 9p, we're going to get 3p. Negative 3 into 6, we're going to get negative, positive. What do we have here? Sorry, man. Negative 6 divided by negative 3, you get negative 2 equal to 0. Now, let's factor out here. What's common here? 3p minus 2, 3p minus 2, 3p minus 2. Okay, what's left now? 5p plus minus 3, 5p minus 3 equal to 0. Okay, now what do we have here? I'm going to say either 3p minus 2 is equal to 0, then 3p is equals to 2, because negative 2 becomes positive that side. Then p, we divide by 3 both sides, p is equals to 2 over 3. Or 5p minus 3 is equal to 0. Now 5p is equals to 3. Then we divide by 5, p is equals to 3 over 5 is what we get there. So these are the values that you get here. Okay, now let's see again here. X squared minus 3 minus x minus 6. What do we do here? We multiply first and last, negative 6x squared. That's what we get, because it's negative. Now we are going to think now, what are those two factors that goes into what we call that if we add them they give us 1. If we multiply, we get 6. So we get negative 6. So you would think that it's gonna be what? Negative 3. It's gonna be negative 3x and positive 2x. Because if we say negative 3 plus 2, you get negative 1, which is there. If we multiply these two, you get negative 6. So be wise there. Always know, watch the signs here. Because if we are trying to put negative negative here, this will give us positive here, and this will give us negative 5 here. We don't want that. We only want negative x. So we're gonna be negative 3x plus 2x minus 6. Okay. Now what do? You're going to take x, you treat this separately, these two again, x out, then x minus 3, okay, then plus, you factor out 2, then x minus 3, okay, then remember this is common, so we take x minus 3, then x plus 2, then either, remember, x minus 3 is equal to 0, x is therefore equal to 3, or x plus 2, x plus 2 is equals to 0, then x is equals to negative 2 because it crossed the equal sign there. Okay, that's what you need to understand here. So this is, what is it? This is another thing again, x squared plus 9, what you call, let's multiply the first and last, 14x squared. Okay, now what are those two factors that you need to substitute there? Those two factors is going to be what? That if we multiply them, 14 and 1, no, 14 and 1 will give us 9. 7 and 2 will give us 9, will also give us 14. So we need to think how are the sign like? It's going to be 7x plus 7x and what? 2x. If we add these two, it's going to be plus 7x, okay, plus 2x, okay, plus 14 is equal to 0. Then treat this separately, then you need to find the answer there. Okay, so this is part of, you need to finish this and find the answer. Okay, so let's get to the second part here, using quadratic formula. So you find that some questions here, some questions don't have factors. So like 5x squared plus 6x minus 7 is equals to 0. Here, some of these what called expressions don't have factors, so you can't use factoring method. So you just need to use quadratic equation, a quadratic formula. So here, with quadratic formula here, it's minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, what is this b, a, and what? So we need to know that general formula for quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. That's the quadratic equation. So in this case here, if we have got 5x squared plus 6x minus 7 equal to 0, it means that we are going to say our a is equal to 5, the coefficient of x squared, that's a. Then b is a coefficient of x, so it's going to be 6. Then c is the last number there, so c in this case is equal to negative 7. That's what we have there. So that's how you must understand it. That's how you must get it. So you know that a is equal to 5, b is equal to 6, and c is equal to negative 7. So from the expression that you have, you must always first write down the value of a, the value of b, and the value of c. Then you can try to solve your equation. Okay, so this is what we have here. And in our equation here, to know that minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now let's try to substitute what we have there. It's minus b. So what is b? B is negative, is 6, sorry. B is 6. So we're going to say minus 6 plus minus square root of, what is b squared? It's 6 squared, okay, minus 4. What is a? It's 5. What is c? What is c here? C is negative 7. Okay, all over 2. What is a? It's 5. Okay, so here, understand something here. In your exam questions, you find that they normally say, what is it? They give you a question, Then they say give you answer correct to two decimal places. So when they make such statements like make your answer to decimal places or what is it? Two significant figures. You know that they I must use quadratic formula. I must use the quadratic formula because they are not exact what we call exact answers like the previous factoring method where ax is equals to maybe value of x is equals to 2 or value of x is equals to what is it is equals to 3, which is actually directed easy. Now let's get to see here what's going on here. So we're going to say when you're punching in your calculator, you have negative b is negative 6. So it's negative. I normally want to put that big sign there, what you call the fraction sign here, so that you can start on top there, negative 6, okay? You start with plus, you can write both plus minus there. Then square root of 6 squared minus 4, what is our A? 5, okay? What is our C there? Negative 7, okay? Then we go down here, what do we have there? We get 2 and 5, okay? So that's what we tend to get there. What do we get there? If we have plus, so you find that the value of x in this case, is going to give us what? X is either x is equals to 0, 7, 3, okay? Now, or, now when you say or now, you're going to check here to put negative here because remember it's plus minus. So let's put negative here and see what we get. Or negative 1,93. That's what you have. Those are the two answers that you must get here. So always remember to put the formula, write the formula first, then what we call draw down the what is the value of a, b, and c, and just substituting them into the equation, general equation. Then you won't have a problem there. Okay. Okay. In some cases as well, you are given what is it an equation like this, and they're asking you to solve for x. Okay. Now they want you to solve for x in this case, but it's given here x is equal to 5 over 3x minus 2. Now what must you do in this case here? X equal to 5 over 3x minus 2. Now you need to get rid of the fraction here. You need to get rid of the fraction. What must you do now? You must multiply by 3x minus 2, both sides. 3x minus 2. Okay, that's what you must do. That here you can be able to cancel. Okay, then you're left with x, 3x minus 2 is equals to 5. Okay, then you multiply here, it's going to be 3x squared minus 2x is equals to 5. Then you take 5 this side, 3x squared minus 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now in this case here, if we try to bring what call these two together, 5 and 5 and 3, you get negative 15. But which factors now will give you a 15 there? Will give you negative 2 and what called, if you multiply them, so let's see here, is negative 15x squared, okay? Then now, what are the two factors that if we multiply them, they give us this, and but if we add them, we get negative 2. So it's probably these two factors, 5 and 3. So it's going to be negative, it's going to be negative what? Which one is going to be negative here? Negative 5x and 3x. That's what you must have here. These are the two things that you get, what called two factors that you can use here. So it's going to be 3x squared minus 5x plus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now here we take, remember we separate here, we separate these two, we deal them separately. Let's factorize here. We factor out here what? What do you factor? We factor out x, then it's going to be x x into 3x squared, you're going to get 3x minus 5 plus 1. In this case, it's 1 because it's only one cause that here because there is no what you call there is no common factor here. Only one is a common factor. 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Understand something here. Remember, these two must be identical, and here they are identical, so we need not worry. Okay. So we take x is common. 3x minus 5 is common. Then x plus 1. X plus 1. That's what left. Then you add 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Then it means that 3x is equals to negative 5 here because it was positive. Then you divide by 3, you divide by 3. X is equals to what you call 5 over 3. That's what we have there. And x or x plus 1 is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 1. So x can be negative 1 or can be 5 over 3. That's how you are supposed to calculate. Okay. So here we are given that x squared minus 2x is minus 3 over x squared minus 2x is equals to 2. But you need to see something here. What do we have here? If you can see here, this is common here. X squared minus 2x, x squared minus 2x. Okay? So here we're going to use what we call the K method or substitution method. So what you're going to do here, you just substitute this common because you can't deal with it, the whole of it now. It's going to be difficult. It can take time. It can be solved, but it will take time. Now, what must we do? We should say let k equal to x squared minus 2x because you can see it's common x squared minus 2x, x squared minus 2x. Let's substitute for with k. Now it's going to be k minus 3 over k equal to 2. Now let's take what is it? Let's take 2 this side. We can leave it for now, right? Now, when you want to remove the k here, we multiply by k throughout. Okay, multiply by k throughout. Then you are going to get what here? We're going to get k squared minus 3 is equals to 2k. That's what we're going to get here. And it's going to be k squared minus 2k minus 3 is equal to 0. That's what we have here. And now what's left now? What's left now is that we're going to say we need now to factorize this now. Factorize the quadratic equation now because now we are presenting the quadratic equation. And if I check here, if we take 3 and 3x, negative 3x here, negative 3k squared, does it affect us here? If we multiply them, they must give us not, all right? They are there. So it's going to be x multiply the first and last, remember, 3k squared. Now, what are those two factors that if we add them, they give us negative 2? It's going to be negative 3k plus, and what? And k, which is 1, okay? Then these two, if you multiply, you get negative 3k. Now, we're going to say k squared minus 3k plus k minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, we take this separate, we factorize also here separate. We're going to figure out k outside. We're left with k minus 3 inside, then plus k minus 3, k minus 3. So we're going to figure out 1, we're going to say k minus 3 equal to 0. Then remember this one is common, k minus 3, k plus 1 is equal to 0. So either k minus 3 is equals to 0, then k is equals to 3, or k plus 1 is equals to 0, then k is equals to negative 1. Now, when you get these now, You need now to go back to the what called the whole question now and see, all right, since you say x squared minus 2x equals to k, you need again now to tell us now, all right, what will be the value of x? Because what we want here is we don't want the value of k, we want the value of x. And how do you get the value of x now? You're going to say we take the previous relationship here that we were told, okay, let's just write it just right here. X squared minus 2x is equals to k. So we're going to say, sorry, x for k equal to 3, okay, for k equal to 3, x squared minus 2x must be equal to 3. Then x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equals to 0. Okay, or here. So now when you're given this, you need to factorize it again. But I think here is more or less the same with what we have here. So you're going to get the same factors here. It's going to be x minus 3, x plus 1 was then equal to 0. Then x, either x minus 3 minus 3 is equal to 0, then x is equals to 3, or x plus 1 is equal to 0, x is equals to negative 1. Those are the values. What about when k is equals to negative 1? We're going to say x squared minus 2x is equals to negative 1. Then we take x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. Now, what are those two factors that if we multiply them, they give us 1 here, they give us x squared, but if we add them, they give us 1. So it's going to be x and x. It's going to be negative x in this case and negative x. That's what we have there. So it's negative 1 and negative 1 will give us negative 2. It's going to be x squared minus x plus 1 is equals to 0. Then let's factor out x here. X going to be x minus 1. Then you factor out what here? Minus 1 as well. Then it's going to be x minus 1 equal to 0. Because if you say minus 1 into x, minus, you're going to get positive. If you say minus 1 into 1, you get negative. Remember, here we take what? X minus 1 is common here. Then also x minus 1 equal to 0. So in this case here, x is equal to what? X minus 1 is equal to 0. X also is equal to, x in this case is equal to 1. That's what we have. So x equal to 1, x is equal to negative 1, x is equal to 3. Those are the three possible values that you can use. Okay, so this is what we call the K method, where you are saying you're given what is it? You're given an expression. The expression there is having, or an equation, the equation there is having what is it? Trinomials inside that you need to substitute with k for the start. Then you can be able to solve the whole question. Okay. So another scenario for K method here is what we have 9 over x squared plus 2x minus 12 is equals to x squared plus 2x minus 12. This is common, so you can just substitute with k. So 9 over k is equals to k. Then you take k, that's multiply by k throughout. Then you cancel k. So 9 is equals to k squared. And if we are to take 9 that side, might be k squared minus 9 is equal to 0. And remember, this is difference of, what is it? Sorry. This is difference of two squares. Difference of two squared, k squared minus 9. This one doesn't have a root, and this one also have a root, which is 3 squared. Okay, so it's more like here is k squared minus 3 squared, which is difference of 2 squared. And difference of 2 squares is gonna give you k plus 3, then k minus 3 is going to be equal to 0. Then this k, in this case here, k will be equal to negative 3 and k is equal to positive 3. Okay. Now, and here is another thing that you need to practice with. Here you can see that x squared minus 18 plus x plus 72 over x squared plus x is equal to 0. As you can see here, you take this x squared plus x is the same as this. So you take this and you bring it here. Okay, x squared plus 8 minus 18. You leave minus, you take minus 18 aside, then so that you can have something common that you can say k. So you can say k is equal to this, and this one you can take it there to find k. Now here, again, what must you do? You must first expand here, remove the bracket so that you can have x squared plus 3 plus 3x. I think there's a mistake there. It's supposed to be 3x there. Okay, so you need to take what you call, you need to take the x inside the bracket and and find this x squared plus 3. That's what you equate what you call to k. Okay, and don't forget, when you find the k, don't forget to come back here and say when k is equal to 3, what is the value of the x. So you come again to the original equation that you substituted with. Okay. Okay, so here I'm gonna do what we call inequalities. And inequalities, remember, inequalities, you use these signs here, like this line is here is greater than, okay. Then this one here is less than, okay. Then when we have what is it? This one here is greater than, or equal to, okay. This one here is less than or equal to. So you can find a way to cram this and to understand this, but it's not something that is difficult to understand here. So these are the signs that you're going to use. So in inequalities, inequality give you a range of values, Okay, so what is it? Equations, you just get exact value. With equations, you get exact value. So equations, you get exact value. Okay, like x is equals to 2. Okay, and x equals to 2, and there is no way you can find another value of x here. X is just equal to 2, and it doesn't. So, but with inequality, this gives us a range. So if with range you can say it's x equal to, so these are more than 2 values, so x is equal to what is equal is greater than 2. So if x is greater than 2, it means that x can be 3, can be 4, can be 5, up until infinity. You understand? So it gives a range of values. If it is x less than 2, it means that x can it be 1, can it be 0, can it be negative 1, can it be up until negative infinity. So in this case here, this is what we call inequalities. So inequalities, remember, they give you a range. Do you see a range? It can be between two values, where when we're saying two values here, you know that, all right, if there are two values, or what must happen there? It must mean that, what is it? It's between two values, let's say 2 and 5. Okay, so you can take any number between 2 and 5 there. Now let's try to see here what is it that you're supposed to do. So when I deal with inequality, it can come as an equation, just like this equation here that we have here, okay, that we just solved now. It was x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0, but in this case here, let's just say greater than 0. So we're saying greater than 0. So now what you need to do first, you need to find what you call critical values. That's number one. So how do you get critical values? You need to factorize. So here through factorization, through factorization. So here you you are going to solve here for what is it for the value of x. So in this case here you need to come up with your factors x plus 2, x plus 3 is equals to 0. Then your critical value is your CV, because this critical value is the same as you can say CV. Okay, so critical values here are x equal to negative 2 and what? Or negative 3. Those are the two values that we have here. So those are what you call critical values. Critical values. Okay, those are critical values. Now, what must you do now? You haven't done yet. You need to come up now on a number line or on a number line. Then you plot a graph. Okay, you plot a graph, and just a hint here, when you're drawing a graph, remember we said a x squared plus bx plus c is equal to, is a quadratic equation. It's a quadratic equation. Okay, it's a quadratic equation there. So when your a is above 0, so your equation is like this. Your graphs for quadratic equation must be looking like this, must face upward. So in this case here, it must be smiling. So general shape of the graph must face up. Then if a is less than 0, okay, so this must look down. It must face down. So we're saying it's sad. So here I'm just telling you this so that it's a hint, because here are the what is it? Your critical values here. These are values of critical values here. So this is where you put your critical values here. So you don't need to worry about negative writing all these negative 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. There is no need for that. Okay, there is no need for you to have even a complete diagram. Now, so in this case here, you're going to take here and say, all right, what is my number line? It's negative 3 and what? And 3. So we've got even one line here. Okay, so we've got negative what? Negative 2, negative 3, sorry, and negative 2. Okay, that's what we have here. Now, what should where should our graph face? Is first face up. So let's face up like that. So when it's facing up like that, now we're going to say we want the values that are greater than 0. So which values are greater than 0? Where is your graph greater than 0 in this case? Your graph is greater than 0 from 2 going up here. Or you also your function here is greater than 0 for values less than negative 3, because that's where your graph is above x values. It's above, it's positive here. Okay, and it's positive this side. So now in this case here, x will be less than negative 3. These are the answers now. These are the answers. Or x is greater than negative 2. Okay, so for you to better understand this, let's also deal with the same question here, where we say x squared plus 5x plus 6 less than 0. Now, when it's less than 0, remember what we must do here. We must have our number line again, negative 3, negative 2. Where is our graph facing? It's facing up. But now, when they say less than 0, it's between, because your graph is under this what call is below 0, where what call is below 0 between negative 3 and 2, negative 2. So this is the solution here. This is the solution. So all set of values that you can put, if you have to substitute there any values here between negative 3 and negative 2, you'll find that you'll get a negative value. So your answer now should be saying negative 3 less than the x value less than negative 2. That's what we have. That's how we must write it. So when you have a writing points between what you call, when describing points between two given points, you're supposed to start with the smaller one, okay? What we call -3 less than x less than -2, which is the bigger one. Okay, so let's give an example again here. Let's just say for points, maybe it's maybe here it's 1, maybe here it's 18. Okay, so and we are told that this is our, we find that this is our what you call, this is our area, this is our area of what you call interest here. We're going to say, all right, how should you describe this? This one should be 1 less than, always start with the smallest one, less than x less than 18, like that. That will be your solution. Okay, so that's what you must know here. So this is how you're supposed to solve inequalities. When you're doing inequalities, first of all, find your critical values. After finding critical values, put your critical values on a number line. Then from there, that's where you get your solution. Because this one is the solution. This is the final answers that you can must get. And in this case, this should be your final answer in this case. Okay. So drawing a graph is not very, you're not going to draw a fancy graph or with all those x, y. No, 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 no. There's no need for you to do that. It's just a sketch of between the two values. Okay. So let's see if we can get some another example. Okay, so here you can be given a fraction like this, where you're told that 4 over x plus 5 greater than 0. Okay, so if it is in this case here, no, it's greater than 0. So for you to get values that are greater than 0 here, what must you do here? You must know that, right, 4 does not have an effect on this. 4 is just a positive number and doesn't have any effect. We want to look for any values of x here. So if we check here for x, for us to get what we call 0, okay, when we say x plus 5 equal to 0, okay, then x is going to be equal to -5. So here, but we want values that are going to give us answers that are above what, above 0, okay, greater than 0. So for us to get anything to get above 0, your your x value must be less than, must be greater than -5. So in this case here, we're supposed to say, so x must be greater than -5. That's what you must have. So x must be above -5. So it must be -4. So from -4, that's the only thing that can give us an answer that is above 0. So from -4, -3, -2, -4 plus 5, you get 1. -3 plus 5, you get 2. So you get positive. But if you say -6 plus 5, you get -1, which will be wrong. Now here, let's check here what happens here. X squared plus 2 will always be positive. Always positive. So it doesn't have an effect on the value of what called, it doesn't affect the nature of this equation here. Now, of this inequality here. But now only the x, here on the denominator. So the denominator is the one to worry. So you're gonna say, all right, x minus 1 less than 0. That's where we need to focus on. So it's gonna be x minus 1 less than 0. X is less than 1. So here, x must be less than 1. Okay, x must be less than 1 because we must get 0. So x should be 0, should be -1, -2, so that we can have a negative value here. So for example here, if x -1 here can be, x can be, what is it? Can be 0, can be -1, can be -2, up until -infinity. So in this case here, if we are to take -1 into that, we're going to say negative times plus negative will give you negative. And we want it to be less than. We want to be negative, negative here. But what it means here, when it's less than 0, it means that this whole thing here must give us it's a negative. Another way of saying just negative, was less than 0. So anything less than 0 should be negative there. Now, if you take anything above 1 now, let's say from 1 itself and 2, you find that you're going to say 2 minus 1, you get 1. And 1, is it positive or negative? It's going to be positive, and we don't want that. That's why we say the only solution here is x must be less than 1. Then if you are to present it on number line, okay, now you're going to say, all right, remember when I present on a number line, uh, you need to know that, all right, is what you call 0, and they've got 1 here, okay, so 1 here, so we have our circle here, and we are saying it must be less than 1. Remember here what happens here, -1, -2, when this whole dot, okay, and shaded dot, and shaded dot. So unshaded dot means that we are not including 1, not including 1. So we are not including 1 in this case. So in this case as well, it's gonna be -5, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, goes on like that. Then we're gonna put here this also. It's supposed to be what you call empty like that. So it's supposed to be hollow because we're not including the point. There is no equal or equal here. But if we have a situation where we are saying, what is it? Where we are saying x 4 over x plus 5 greater than or equal to 0. This one is going to be x plus 5 greater than or equal to 0. Then x is greater than or equal to 5, -5. So we're going to say -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. Then 1 goes on like that. Okay. We're going to shade like that. We'll shade it. So shading shows that we are including the value. So whenever you see the value, the vertical or equal, you must know that when you start with the values, you must always shade. Okay, so that's what you must always remember here with inequalities and what is it and the quadratic equations. Okay, so until next time, so catch up on the next lesson for some spontaneous equations and also spontaneous equations, exponents, nature of roots. So until next time, thank you.